Hi everyone. I said a little while ago now I was going to do a video of all the book series that I wanted to finish before the end of the year, and my reading has slowed down quite massively in the last couple of months. Perhaps I'm just getting slight burnout, I don't know, but I'm finding it really increasingly quite hard to finish books at the moment. But anyway, I'm going to be positive about this, and I am setting myself a goal, hopefully achievable, because it should be, where I want to finish these book series before December the 31st, 2020. If 2020 actually lets us get to the end of the year without completely destroying us all. That's another conversation. So there we are. So let's start off with something nice and easy. Yeah, this is totally achievable, isn't it? Last year I read The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson, which is book 1 in the Mistborn trilogy. This is as far as I've got. I really enjoyed this. I like the characters. I was intrigued by the magic and the fact that the world is pretty awful in this one. Really intrigued me. I enjoyed it a lot. But these are the next two books in the series. The Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages. And they're massive books. I mean, seriously. So I need to read these. I want to read these books. I want to see how the Mistborn trilogy finishes. And then it also means I can go on and read the rest of the Sanderson books that I've got. You know, I've got the Stormlight Archives sat on the shelf. I have the tie-in books to the rest of this trilogy. I'm really looking forward to reading all the Sanderson stuff out there. There is quite a lot of it, and he keeps churning it out, and they keep being bigger and bigger books. So I'm not daunted much, but I want to read these books. I want to finish the series so I can carry on with the rest of Sanderson's universe. I just kind of wish they were a little bit smaller. Can we have smaller books, please, people? So another series that I started, a couple of years ago now, is Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton. I have read this book. I remember really liking the book, but I wasn't that fussed about reading the rest of it. And then I got the whole lot in a matching cover set, trilogy, fully signed, and everything. And I haven't got round to reading these yet. So we have Hero at the Fort and Traitor to the Throne. And, you know, they're lovely. These are gorgeous books. And the characters are really intriguing. And it's nice to read something a little bit different. I just haven't got around to doing it. These are not quite as thick as Sanderson's. So there is kind of no excuse for not reading these. I just haven't got around to it. And I really want to. Then there's the Great Library series. Ink and Bone by Rachel Caine. Again, I've read this about 2 years ago now. Loved it. Loved the alternative timeline. The idea of the Great Library of Alexandria actually being this hideous, terrible place full of corrupt people who want to control us all rather than knowledge should be free. And I love this so much. I even managed to pick up the next 2 books in the matching covers. I'm a little bit miffed they've changed the style for the next book. But there we go. I've got Paper and Fire and Ash and Quill. I'm all ready to go. I just haven't got around to it. Again, these are quite manageable. You know, 400-page books. I should be able to read these without any problem. I just haven't got around to it. Then there's this series, Court of Thorn and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I have read this one. And I have read A Court of Mist and Fury. I've read both of them. I loved Mist and Fury so much. This one really peed me off, but I've come to accept that the first book that Sarah J. Maas writes in a series I'm not going to like. So why have these two been on my shelves for over a year? I keep saying to myself, every year I must read this book. You know, this is a big book. This is, you know, time consuming. But Sarah J. Maas writes books where you just literally fly through the pages. You don't feel like you're reading an 800-page book. You just get on with it. But I haven't got round to it. I want to see how this trilogy ends. I want to find the natural conclusion point to this story. Then there's this series, Shatter by Tahara Muffy. I read this book on the beach last year. Yeah, remember that? When we could go to the beach and not worry? And I loved it. I shot through this in a day and a half, I think. I read it so quickly. I loved this book so much. It was part of a set I brought. So I managed to get the first 4 books in the Shatter series. I know there's, 2, 3 more out now? I just haven't continued. Why not? I don't know. But there's Unravel Me, Ignite Me, and Restore Me. And I love the covers. They're so stylish. They're the big book series that I would really like to finish this year. I would like to sit there and go, yes, I completed those book series. I read those books that were on my shelf. I finally got round to it. I committed and completed trilogies or full-blown multi-book series. I did it. I would love to say that, but you know I'm going to be standing here at the end of December and say, no, I haven't read these books yet. Because I do that. Well, there we are. Perhaps I should take the next book of each series with me on holiday and just sit there and, right, I have to read this book. I now have to read this book. I now have to read this book. And that might be a way of getting through these book series. It's certainly what I seem to have done for the last couple of series I've read. I've sat there on the beach and just read the books all the way through. Or I've made a point and go, no, I'm reading this one, and I'm reading this one, and I'm reading this one. I'm completing a series. Particularly when I have a complete set, like The Rebel of the Sands, where it's a complete trilogy. That's it. There's no more in that series. I don't think so, anyway. And I could read it and finish it within a couple of weeks. You know, it's not like finishing The Dragon Republic 2 months ago and having to wait 3 more months for The Burning God to be coming out, which I know I really, really, really can't wait for. So, what book series do you have on your shelves that you are guilty of leaving and you feel like, yes, I want to finish them this year. I want to complete that story. Let me know in the comments down below so I know I'm not the only one going absolutely crazy by this. And in my description box you will find links to my social media where you can also come and say, yeah, you can do this. You can read these books. Go for it. A little bit of cheerleading would be lovely. Thank you. You can find my book blog down there where there may be confessions of not reading these books. Maybe one day. So you'll find a link to a black booktuber and a book blogger down there as well. Please go and check them out and give them support. Thank you very much. As always, thank you very much for watching and happy reading. Be well.